anyone. Sometimes Thursday night football matchups are a little suspect, but not this one. Yeah. This is real good. Kyler versus Russ, a three-way tie atop the NFC West. So here's what I want to ask you. In terms of a franchise quarterback, who would you rather have, Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray?
Well, I'm going to go with Russell Wilson. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. You know how big I am on resume. The other day we had a conversation about who's the most dangerous at this particular moment in time, and that was Kyler Murray. This is not that same question. You're talking about a franchise quarterback. Who would you rather have? And Russell Wilson is tried and proven. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won a Super Bowl championship. If Pete Carroll didn't ask him and Darrell Bevel didn't ask him to throw that damn slant pattern to Tyler Lockett that got intercepted by Malcolm Butler, and instead of giving the ball a beast mode at the half-yard line, he'd have 2 rings instead of 1, and the Patriots would have 5 rings instead of 6. It's just that simple to me. When you look at his record right now, this man is 92-44-1 as a starting quarterback in the National Football League for the Seattle Seahawks. On many, many occasions, you know what, he was not that dude. In other words, it was the Legion of Boom, and the offense evolved around that and beast mode. And then Russell Wilson came into the fray and just showed you what he could bring to the table, so much so that the franchise was handed to him. The keys to the franchise were handed to him. This year, he's been unleashed. And even though he's struggled as of late, I will remind everybody he's still completing 69.8% of his passes. He still has 28 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. I mean, he hasn't been god-awful. The reality of the situation is that the vast majority of this season, he's been a leading MVP candidate until the last 2 weeks. So I look at what he brings to the table, and I'm of the mindset, Russell Wilson is special. I got mad respect and love for Kyler Murray, but you got to do it over a period of time. Russell Wilson has done that. We know how elite he is. I'm rolling with him.
Oh, every GM in football is like, why isn't Stephen A GM that I can negotiate against? Let me get this straight, Stephen A. You have 2 dudes. Russell Wilson's a little better than Kyler Murray right now. In fact, he's more dangerous, too. We were just arguing that. You were telling me Kyler Murray's more dangerous than Russ right now. But even the fact that someone could argue, and many people do, that he's more dangerous than Russell Wilson right now, even the fact that they are very similar, the question's even being asked, is Kyler Murray ahead of Russell Wilson in the MVP race? No, I don't think he is. I think Russ is still a little ahead of him. Not that that's 1 and 2 in the MVP race, but in terms of their rank there. Even the fact that we're asking that right now, in Kyler Murray's second year, Russell Wilson was not asked to do what Kyler Murray is being asked to do in terms of carrying the load of the team. Like the hopes and dreams, the winning is pinned on him. Russell had a better defense, obviously, than Kyler Murray early in his career. But even the fact that they're comparable already, and they are comparable, they're very comparable. Same height, more or less the same size, both really fast, both with good arms, both can pick up first downs with their legs, but often use their legs to extend plays, keep their eyes down the field. By the way, both were good enough at baseball on a college level to be drafted by Major League Baseball. They were both drafted. Kyler Murray, I'll mention, was drafted in the first round by, I think it was Billy Beane and the A's. Like, they know what they're looking at, and they know the analytics and all that stuff. They thought he was a first-round pick. But they both still want to play baseball. Talk to Kyler. There's so many similarities between these two. But one is almost 10 years younger than the other. 10 years. He's almost a decade younger. Who do I want for my franchise quarterback? Between 2 guys who are the best comps for each other in the league? If you said, what's the best comp for Russell Wilson that you've ever seen? You might say Kyler Murray, and vice versa. But Kyler Murray's ahead of Russell Wilson's pace, and he's a decade younger, way cheaper, but you want Russell Wilson as your franchise QB? Oh, I wish we were GM, Stephen.
This is one, and you know what? If we were a GM, I'd hang up on you because that's just an asinine argument for the purposes of a debate show. Of course, because one is 23 and one is 31. Max, I'm here thinking, okay, we're looking at their talents over the next few years. Here we go. Basically, what you're saying to me right now, Max, is that okay, Russell Wilson could continue to do what he's going to do for 5 years. But because Kyler Murray could do it for 10, because he's obviously almost 10 years younger, that's why you would do it. Well, then what the hell you say everything else for? Because I didn't know that's what we were doing. I thought we were looking at their talents and saying, excuse me, looking at who they are. Who would you want? I didn't know I got to look at who's cheaper. I didn't know that I had to look at, oh my goodness, he's 8 years younger. So, because if that's the case, why even talk about everything else? He's 8 years younger, and oh, by the way, he can ball. You know what? Eventually he'll catch up to Russ because Russ is going to get old. I could have just stopped there. I'm looking at both of them play, and I'm saying they could. This is what they could do. Who would you rather have as your franchise quarterback?
No.
Right now.
Are you able to shut off your hearing? Because most people are not. Are you able to? Did you hear what I told you? I was very clear about it. They are incredibly comparable. They are the same size. They're both fast. They both play big. Like they are very similar athletes, and they have a lot of similarities as quarterbacks. The difference is Kyler Murray
but you brought up age
at a younger
and
age
contract.
than Russell Wilson is.
Then why did you bring up the age?
Barring a trade, the Timberwolves have the first pick, followed by Golden State, Charlotte, Chicago, and then Cleveland.
What fuels me? I would like to be the best to ever play the game.
I want to be the best in the world at what I do.
Is it caught? Oh my goodness, it's caught! He caught it for a touchdown! I can't wait to see this drive right here. They already know what's going to happen. That's score right here, Tom. Shoots the defender and scores.
Thursday night football, an NFC West showdown for first place in the division. Cardinals, Seahawks. Kyler Murray coming after Russell Wilson for that MVP title. And he made quite the case on Sunday with that beautiful Hail Mary to DeAndre Hopkins, among some other things. So, Max, who is the more dangerous player? Is it Kyler or is it Russell?
Is this a trick question? The guy with Danger Russ? It's his name is dangerous. The answer is Russell Wilson. Love me some Kyler Murray. Stephen A., I've been talking about how great he is all year. I will leave him to you. Kyler Murray is hoping to one day get to where Russell Wilson is today. Like today, I know Kyler Murray is very exciting. Russell Wilson is Arizona has a defense that's been coming on all year. Russell Wilson doesn't. Russell Wilson is the one quarterback who every single week coach hands him the ball and says, go win a shootout. Every week, Mahomes is not asked to do that. Aaron Rodgers is not asked to do that. Russell Wilson is, and he's dangerous enough to get it done. Now, because of that, he now has 10 interceptions on the season, although Kyler Murray has 8. Russell Wilson's thrown 28 touchdowns. He's thrown for almost 2,800 yards compared to Kyler Murray's 17, I want to say, touchdowns and maybe 2,300 yards, something like that. Russell Wilson's not only better, but with the game on the line, more dangerous. He's made a career out of it. You know, as I say, each given season, you can say there's a better player that year than Russell Wilson, but he's always in the conversation. The other guys' names change. If you took the last half decade, last half dozen years of NFL play and said, who's been the most valuable player in the league over the last 5 or 6 years? The answer is clearly Russell Wilson. He's the most dangerous, Stephen A. He's doing it without a defense. He's sitting with a 6-3 record, having to do it by himself. Of course, he has weapons, but the whole offense is predicated on him and how he plays, and he wins twice as much as he loses.
I think you're wrong, because I think that you're looking at the overall talent that Russell Wilson brings to the table and how great he has been and how great he is. And you're not looking at what's happening right now as this season progresses. We're talking about right now, in my estimation, and the operative word is dangerous. And that's why I'm going to go with Kyler Murray. Max Kellerman, did you know that right now we all have conceded that Lamar Jackson is absolutely phenomenal running with the football, correct? Mm-hmm. Haven't we done that?
Yes, of course.
Did you know that Kyler Murray has more rushing yards this season than Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson's at 524 rushing yards, the leading rusher for the Baltimore Ravens. Kyler Murray is at 604 yards, the second leading rusher on the Arizona Cardinals. And it seems like he's taken a page from Lamar Jackson's book, recognizing the fact that Lamar Jackson has improved tremendously in terms of accuracy throwing the football, primarily because he's scared the living daylights out of opposing defenders because they know how electrifying he is running the football. So they've got to keep spies. They've got to compromise their secondary and their coverage because they've got to make sure they keep eyes on Lamar Jackson. Well, Kyler Murray's got the defenses starting to do that with him now. Over this season, Max Kellerman, I got the numbers right in front of me. I wrote it down here. He opened the season rushing for like 91 yards against San Francisco. Ever since then, he's got rushing yards of 67, 78, 74, another 67-yard rushing game against Seattle. He ran for 106 yards against Miami, okay? So I'm looking at him running with the football. And then even though he's miniature, we don't test his arm strength. He can make every NFL throw. He's completing about 68% of his passes. And so I look at it from that perspective. You already know he can fling the football, particularly in open space. If he doesn't have taller defensive linemen in his face or whatever, this brother gets in the open space. He can fling that football downfield. He's got an elite weapon in DeAndre Hopkins to throw the football to. You got guys like Drake running the football for you. And this dude himself, how many times have we seen him over the last 2 weeks alone extend plays, moving the chains, running the football? That's why the operative word here is dangerous. I certainly wouldn't call him better than the great Russell Wilson.